Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 4 college basketball games for Monday, January 6, 2025. Now if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, the games I love the most in college hoops and other sports, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Monday in college basketball. First up, it's North Carolina Central taking on Morgan State. This one's 7:30 Eastern on ESPN+. I kind of view this as a buy low spot for NC Central. They're coming off the bad loss to Coppin State, but overall, Coppin has been more competitive in their last 5 games or so. Covered against NC State, earned the outright win against Navy. They were competitive in the first half, at least against Georgetown, even though that ended up being a lopsided final score. And, against NC Central, Coppin was just the better team in that game, but I still consider NC Central, Howard, and Norfolk State to be the top teams in this MEAC this year. I think Norfolk State, the best team by a good margin, but I still think Central's going to be able to compete, and I like them to bounce back here. Now, this defense does give up a lot of easy looks. However, they also force a lot of turnovers to kind of make up for it. I think that's going to bode well for NC Central in this ball game. I actually think this is a decent offense, one of the better offenses in this conference, and Morgan State could have the weakest or bottom 5 defense in all the country in all the Division I basketball. So I think NC Central has a big day offensively, bounces back a little bit on the defensive side, and we're getting a cheap price with one of the better teams in this conference going up against one of the weaker teams in the MEAC. So give me NC Central. I'm going to lay the points. Next up, it's Incarnate Word and Lamar. This one 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Both of these teams and programs are not used to having these records at this point in the year, at least not recently. Lamar is 8-6 and 3-0 in conference play. Incarnate Word is 9-5, and yes, they played a much weaker schedule, but they're also 2-1 in conference play. And I think this is going to be an excellent game. Both of these teams are on win streaks right now. Lamar has won 2 straight and 7 of their last 8. And on the other side, Incarnate Word's won 4 straight, 5 of their last 6. I think we're going to see a back and forth type of game where either team has a shot to win it outright in the end. And I'd rather have the underdog either plus the points or getting plus money on the money line. That's Incarnate Word. This is an excellent 3-point shooting team that gets a lot of second chance opportunities. That bodes well against a weak defensive rebounding Lamar team. I like the fact that Incarnate Word does a good job at taking care of the basketball and can force some turnovers on a Lamar backcourt that's been inconsistent at times this year. Lamar's got a great defense, but the offense for me, not good enough to lay this many points. Even it doesn't seem like a lot of points on paper, but in a game that I think is going to be very close, very competitive, I can't get there with Lamar at this price. I'm going to go with Incarnate Word, take them plus the points, and on the money line. Next up, it's TCU and Houston. This one 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Houston on Saturday played BYU. I like BYU in that game. It was a one-sided blowout for Houston. That one, 31-point victory from start to finish. Just a dominant showing from Houston. And this is a great defense. We know Houston's had one of the better defensive programs in the last 5+ years, and right now ranks second in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency. I think TCU really struggles to score in this one. I mean, this is a team, and I think you're going to be able to find some spots with them at home in certain games in Big 12 play. Their most recent game against Kansas State, a win. Against Xavier, a non-conference play, a home game win. But on the road, I really just don't think this offense keeps up. This is a team, the big thing for me, Houston, their aggressive defense. They force a lot of turnovers. They do take a lot of fouls because of that aggressive style of defense. But TCU, while they do a decent job of getting to the line, they're one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country, ranked 338th with a 64.5% free throw percentage as a team. If they're getting to the line, I'm not sure they're going to be able to take care of business against Houston. And I think that Houston also, very slow team on both sides of the ball. They're one of the slowest teams in all of college basketball. I think that's really going to help us get under this total. It's a low total to begin with, but I still think there's enough wiggle room in this game for us to go under in TCU Houston. Next up, we have Southern and Prairie View A&M. This one is going to be 8:30 Eastern. This should be a great game between two teams that played very tough non-conference schedules and have started SWAC play with big wins. We saw Southern earn the win at Texas Southern by 8 or 9 points, and then Prairie View an 18-point blowout win over Grambling. Prairie View was only 1-12 going into that game. They lost all their non-conference true road games. Their only win was the beginning of the season, a subdivision win over Biblical Studies. But it goes to show you, and when you play these tough schedules, you play all these different types of styles of teams, and you play all over the country. you are definitely prepared for conference play in the SWAC. And I think Prairie View has a strong season. I think the same thing goes for Southern, but I think Prairie View right now is a little bit undervalued because of that record on paper. I think they match up well in this game. And I think the turnover battle is the key for me. SWAC teams, a lot of the teams in the SWAC have big time turnover problems. You look at their percentages, usually turning the ball over 20% of their possessions. But Prairie View does a great job at taking care of that basketball, ranked 75th in the nation in turnover side offensively. They also force a ton of turnovers. And Southern, they lose the ball about 20% of their possessions. I think PV forces a lot of turnovers, a lot of fast break buckets, and in a game like this, that could definitely be the difference maker. At a home game for PV, they have a solid home court advantage. I think Southern is a good team, and I wouldn't be shocked to see them get revenge against PV later on this season when they play again in February at Southern. But in this first meeting, I like Prairie View A&M to pick up the win. And that's it. Those are the games for Monday in college hoops. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Put those college basketball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.